So, are you just going to ask me questions and I can answer it and then we'll go from there? And you can edit out anything that makes me look stupid? Or if I say something really messed up that needs to be gone?
Yeah. Let's talk about how much we hate Scott Geyser.
This is Mike Sickle.
I want to
Young people.
wake up, feel fine, grab my baggies off the clothesline. I want to wake up, restore, thinking back on the night before. I said yeah, then I did it. Having not a
Feels like
second
a rape
thought.
dungeon in here.
I know exactly what he tastes like.
I said yeah, then I did it. La 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 la.
Just your mic, Colleen.
No, 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 no. You cannot buy the beer. Beer! Close the eyes. No, 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 no. I always blame the beer.
Okay, here's the show.
Nils at the job site he was at, and he shot a trim carpenter nail and it hit existing nail behind the wall, and then it caught this guy it caught him down there. And this old man screamed, "Oh, my garage!" And ever since then, we've kind of jokingly said, "Oh, my garage." So it's kind of, we laughed, but it was pretty, he lost one due to it.
Oh my, knowing why you say that completely changes my reaction.
Yes, he literally lost a testicle due to this.
Yeah, that's worse than saying, "Oh my God."
Oh, it's pretty bad. Yeah, legit. Oh,
Keep going, we're good.
okay. Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was. We heard him scream, and then we realized he wasn't kidding because there was blood, and then we took him to the hospital, and yeah. It was,
Oh my God, I bet he was so pissed.
I couldn't tell because it pretty sure it hurt pretty bad. Yeah, I can't even imagine. It was terrible.
Ugh.
Yeah. So the Oh My Garage, it started from a strange place. Yeah. It's stuck with me ever since.
One testicle.
We're ready to actually go now.
Oh, you ready to
I
go?
know we had a little bit of a hiccup
Are
there.
you sure?
Yep.
The watch is off.
I'm not
Good?
sure, but I'm pretty sure.
All right. Well, let's figure it out.
Yeah, we're fine.
We're
good.
episode number 69.
Yep.
Nothing? 69.
69!
Of
Like
Adjust the
Ronnie
Mic.
from Howard Stern.
Of Adjust the Mic.
Yep.
To my right, the hostess with the mostest, Mr. Scott.
Hello, Governor.
I
Ugh,
knew it. I
so
knew it was
bad.
governor today.
A little bit further down is Frank. Again, welcome, Frank.
Howdy. Thank you for
This
having
is
me.
your third
buddy?
appearance?
Yeah. Happy to be here. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Boom.
To my left, the craft beer queen, Miss Colleen.
Hello.
Hey, baby.
What's going on, sweetie?
Oh, nothing.
Everything
Happy to
good?
be here. I'm excited for today.
Yeah, and two amazing guests. Director of Victim Services for the North Brevard Division of the Women's Center of Brevard.
Hi, how
Hi,
are you?
Cynthia
How you doing?
Dennison, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, thank you for coming. And the Executive Director at Fight for Zero and Content Creator at Stel Bailey Unscripted. Stel,
Hello, thank you for having me.
how you guys doing?
Awesome. Thanks for coming.
Good.
We have like three badass people here today.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
awesome.
intimidated.
It's really awesome. It really, like
It's a
we're
little
like you guys. I
intimidating.
know y'all might be a little nervous. We're nervous too, and stuff like this because we want to make sure you guys are portrayed properly and professionally.
I'm more giddy than I am nervous because these ladies are truly two of my heroes and absolute hammers. I mean, they're no joke. Serious
Yeah.
women.
I was reading about
He's been
it.
talking to you guys up for weeks now.
For real.
So
I'm like,
yeah.
I just pour beer.
yeah.
You have the most important job of all.
I know. I help you guys out
Yeah,
in the
you
end.
really do.
It's pretty important.
But like for real,
Some really
it's
good beer, too.
impressive. I was just telling my husband the other day, it's so cool when women do these like really awesome jobs. Cause like I just met this girl who's an airplane mechanic and she like legit works in the machine shop. She fixes the airplanes and she let me take my son Declan to her hangar this weekend to go and see these airplanes. Cause
Oh, that's awesome.
he has autism and he's 6 years old and he's obsessed with airplanes right now. And he makes us just drive loops around the airport just so he can see them take off and everything. And she let us go in there and I was like, man, women are badass. And then
Preach.
you two being in here and it's like,
Preach.
what am I doing with my life?
You're keeping us from losing our mind there, Colleen.
You know, at least I'm raising the kids right. Hopefully.
Give yourself some
For
credit.
now.
Being a mother is one of the hardest jobs
You
on the planet, too.
100% are.
It
What are you
really
talking
is
about?
hard.
Yeah, it is hard. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a few jobs
so
that you say
gangster.
those are super hard jobs, and yeah, being a mother definitely is up there.
Yeah.
And
Top
for
two,
and
top
for
two,
you
I'd
and
say.
all of us, this is kind of like we do a podcast. this is a getaway from that. Even this is like a break from that. Like we all have our
100%.
So
daily
true.
lives and our grinds, and we do. Most people in the United States, they do podcasts on the side, and in their spare time, usually out of a place like this, or whatever, and so it's kind of awesome that we get to kind of get away and talk about all this stuff with our days, especially with, you have a lot of awesome stories you get to talk about, Colleen.
Yeah. My house is crazy all the time. My husband's super jealous I get to come here because I have 3 kids. My 2 oldest boys, they both are diagnosed with autism on the spectrum. And then Quinn, she's 2.5. So she's going through the terrible twos right now. And it's like every day something crazy is happening. And it's just like, oh my God.
That's why you always want to record.
Like pouring entire things of cat litter in the washing machine.
We record this
Yeah.
weekend. I could do 2 shows, 3 shows.
Like in a
Wow.
brand new washing machine, a whole tub of cat litter that I just bought got poured in
Wow.
there.
That is epic.
You can't even like wash it because it's clumps up. So it's
It's
like we had
cat
to take
litter.
it apart and take it outside. Like, yeah, that's kind of stuff that happens weekly at my house.
No way. That is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
I
times.
relate. I relate.
Yeah.
I have a son on the autism spectrum. Actually, he's high functioning autism. So, I relate.
That's awesome. How old is he?
He's 11 now.
Oh,
hmm
that's so cool. Yeah. Then I feel you.
Yeah.
It's hard finding people that can truly understand what you go through, like daily. It's not like, yeah, it's hard. So this is a definite break. Work is a break.
Yeah.
Anyways,
So what's up? Before we get into our amazing guest, Scott, what happened to your truck, dude?
Oh, yeah.
Hit on that real quick.
So Monday morning work, we're shorthanded 3 people. Super busy. Normally we have people kind of out. We work on Garden Street is where our office is. And there was a U-Haul right down from us that got hit first. But a white SUV blacked out with 4 people in the car. We're going up into parking lots, 3 people jumping out, popping windows, jumping in through the window so they don't set the alarm off, trying to see what they can get, bailing, and then going down the street. They went all the way down to Daytona. And it was in the news.
God.
We got hit between 8 a.m. and like 11:30 is when we got hit. And none of us knew. Like three of our trucks out of 4. Lee, I'm going to smash your window. Joking. My coworker.
Yeah,
But like,
he went outside.
she's
And was like,
the
"Not
only
mine?"
person that didn't get her window smashed, and it's like, how did you get so lucky?
Does he have
You
a piece
know?
of crap looking
Like, I think
truck?
all of
I
us
think
want to
offended.
smash it. Yeah, I know, right? Like, what?
Like what? Mine wasn't good enough.
So yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So now I'm in a rental for like 5 days, I think, and broke both windows and
Did you
everything.
get anything missing out of the truck?
Luckily, I did not have any valuables in there. One of my coworkers, he had a wallet taken.
Yeah.
And some other stuff, and then another girl, she had a bag. They just took the whole bag.
God.
That
All her
sucks,
stuff.
man.
And I think it had tampons in it and stuff, probably.
That's such a
You know what I
terrible
mean? So it's like,
feeling, man.
man.
Yeah.
We lost out on this one.
Okay, so
But,
you
they
got
have
a
not been
you got a
caught.
rental for now for the next few days, huh?
Yeah.
That sucks, man.
What's
Garden
your
Street's
rental?
crazy, man. It's getting bad over there.
Just things are volatile.
Yeah, you don't expect at 8 a.m. to be dealing with a robbery.
At work, of all places, while you're working, you know.
I mean, that's 7-Eleven on Garden Street.
Is
There
what
was
it
like a
is.
shooting, like a couple shootings. Like Garden Street seems to be like where it's at to like, don't even go there.
It's like, what do you do about it? I mean, you're right. There's
Yeah.
people that work at convenience stores that their lives are much more at risk
Yeah.
than me working in a little office. And like,
Yeah.
my window got broken. You know what I mean? In
Yeah.
the grand spectrum, but yeah, it happened.
What's your rental vehicle?
It's for Jared. It's lapis blue, but it's really purple. It's
Did you say lapis blue?
my buddy Jared had a VW Bug, and it's up there.
I don't think men are supposed to know what lapis blue is.
And he keeps saying it's lapis blue, but we tell him it's purple. Bro, you had a purple Bug in high school. It's cool. It's fine, but it's not blue.
I've never heard of a lapis.
So it's been this long. It's this long standing thing. So I have a lapis blue.
Well, you're a man. Neither have I.
Rogue Nissan Rogue in my garage.
No idea what that means.
I don't understand either. Does it mean dark or light or medium? Or
I think it's like blue purple. It's like just a color. It's just a color
it's
on the
blurple.
whatever.
It's
I'm gonna have to
it's
go check
blurple.
that out.
Oh, it's total.
I would call that blurple.
Yeah.
I like all 3 women are just like idiots. Men describing colors.
Exactly.
Losers.
That should be the new podcast, basically, right there.
Men describing colors.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
exactly.
Okay, so Stel, did you want to start first? I was looking into this like Fight for Zero whole project that you got going on.
Oh, I don't even know where to begin on it.
It's ridiculous.
What got you interested in this in the first place, and what is your main purpose? What do you guys do?
Well, what got me interested was in 2013, my uncle who lived with us most of our lives, myself, my younger brother, my father, and our family dog were all diagnosed with cancer. And so that started me on a journey of wondering what in the world was going on, because that's not typically normal for a whole family to get diagnosed with cancer, within the same year time frame. So once I was told I was in remission in 2014, our family's case was so unique. We were invited to Pennsylvania to do genetic testing, and that genetic testing showed that we had no mutating genes, which typically points to something environmental.
Sure.
And so I kind of turned into an Aaron Brockovich and started knocking on doors and collecting cancer diagnoses here in Brevard County. And that turned into collecting here to across the entire state of Florida, because everybody wanted to be counted. And so as I collected all those cases, I started noticing something extremely scary. A lot of people that I even went to school with that, I think even Cindy knows, confided in me and said, I was diagnosed with cancer in 2013 too. I'm just not as open about it, So I kind of became this person that people came to tell me about their disease issues and their illnesses. And so I started looking into answers, like what could possibly be causing these cancers or these illnesses here on the Space Coast of Florida. And you fast forward to 2018, I had been going through a lot of research and documents, but there was this one particular document that had just been released from the Department of Defense, and we found a chemical called PFAS. It's also known as perfluorinated compounds, or a forever chemical, and it doesn't break down in the environment. We found that it was released by Patrick Air Force Base. It's also found at Kennedy Space Center and Cape Canaveral Air Force Station. And it went into all of our waterways. And so I know that there's a lot more issues outside of this perfluorinated compound. And it just really took off once we brought it up. We kind of got some pushback here locally, And so we started doing independent testing ourselves. And the Fight for Zero came. It's a unique story. I was at a city council meeting in Melbourne, and I said, we found PFBA, which is a sister chemical of it. It's in the family, the same family, in the actual drinking water at the high school, the schools on Beachside. And, of course, they gave us their typical BS response of, well, it's in the safety limits.
What school was it?
It was multiple on Beachside. It was Satellite High School was one of them.
Okay.
There were a couple elementary schools, and it was everybody on Melbourne Water that had it.
What year was that?
This was in 2018 when we started really I guess exploring and starting to put it out there for the public to really understand and see what was going on here. But I was standing at that podium and I said, well, it should be 0. Why the hell do we even have a safety limit that's set so high when we know that that's 70 parts per trillion is the safety limit for the EPA, and we found 4.3 million parts per trillion of this stuff. Million.
Wow.
Oh my God.
So people understand where these PFOs, PFAs, PFAS, where do they come from?
So they come from firefighting foam. That's one of the biggest places that has contaminated our waterways here. But you can also find them in water-resistant packaging.
Yeah, pizza boxes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. So
I've done my homework on a lot of the stuff that both of you have done.
Wow.
And like
It's
the
pretty much in everything.
firefighter, the training areas and all that. And it's crazy, man. It's scary. It's really scary when it's in your backyard.
Mm-hmm.
And before Frank introduced us to both of you guys, I had no idea. I had no idea Aaron Brockovich was in this area. Like, I had zero idea. And then you start digging, and you're like, oh, man.
Yeah, they loved Aaron Brockovich. Everybody loved Aaron Brockovich,
Yeah.
even the government.
Oh,
Not really,
yeah.
Not really.
Yeah,
They were really angry
I'm
about her
sure.
coming here.
Yeah, I'm so
She brought
sure.
a lot of awareness, but we hosted her meeting here, and she went across the entire state of Florida. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, she was a great asset, and she continues to be a great asset. We still continue to work with her till this day.
Awesome.
She just called out Titusville, actually, for their chlorine
She did.
dosing.
Yeah, I saw the story.
Yeah.
The chlorine dosing.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
even my
bad.
filtered water still tastes like chlorine. And then you posted, Scott, that they were doing it again. I'm like, didn't they just do it?
They did.
Like,
Yep.
it's ridiculous. Even my poor cats, like, they try to. No, yeah, God, yes, the
Yeah.
chlorine dosing. Is that to try to like kill stuff like that?
Yeah, they're cleaning out the pipes, basically, is what they're doing. So, I mean, and obviously there's a problem if they have to do it so soon, within 2 months of a time frame. And they don't tell the public, certain little details. Like if you look at the fine print, it says people with compromised immune systems or that are on dialysis shouldn't be drinking this water. And in my opinion, nobody should be drinking this water, especially when they're doing a chlorine dosing.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's wild, man.
Now, when it comes to this chlorine dosing and everything, I've done a little bit of reading on this, and you don't hear many people in many cities have a better way.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it comes because of money, okay? They don't get funded properly, just like education doesn't get funded properly, just like, all the social things that would actually better us in our educations and whatnot, our society, they're just not put at the forefront because, money, profit, little expenses,
Mm-hmm.
draw from the things, the social things, right?
Right. It always comes down to money.
So that's the same thing that's happened with our, like a city collects taxes from us to, give us a society that's beneficial to us. And our water quality is probably the most important.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's been the thing that's, been the most important part of our longevity of our lives, at least in America, has been, based on getting better water from the old days to now. What are the better ways and what are the costs? I mean, you might not know, like what would it take for a city to do the right thing?
It would really just be as simple as consulting with Aaron Brockovich's water expert who came here and gave them that opportunity to tell them he is an expert.
Just to
in this.
listen.
Yeah, just to listen and understand why there are certain treatment processes that are much better, not just for the water quality, but also for our health. And, there are people out there that understand the science and the chemicals and everything that goes behind that. And so that's what I do. I don't ever claim to be an expert, but I do work with the experts, not just in Florida, but on a national level.
See, in our society, there's always going to be that the angle of progress, right, at the expense of what? And that's what big money, that's what, all the big names are going to, we could throw all the big names out there. It's not, they're all have a goal, but there's a consequence of that goal. And, in the old days, people hid and fought, from, that. And that's what Aaron Brockovich's story, that's what that movie that everybody knows came from, is from that kind of a mindset of a corporation. When are companies going to get smarter to work closer with people like you or people like, the experts that Aaron Brockovich knows to better that, situation?
I think it really takes a lot of pressure from the people, but first the people have to understand, everything that's going on. It really starts with education. I always say awareness brings action, and that's exactly what we're trying to do. We're trying to bring awareness through that community outreach so that they are armed with the tools and understand exactly what is going on here. So we do things like collecting data and teaching them how to be citizen scientists and grabbing samples of the water and learning exactly what's going on to where they can't be talked out of, it's just safe, it's within limits. And so once they're armed with that, it's really just takes the people standing up and demanding it. We can demand it. It's our right. We pay our taxes, and we have the ability to make those changes.
Now, Stel, you mentioned the people, like me. I'm the once I got into that, I was like, oh, okay, well, there's a problem. What would you tell somebody who wanted to get involved in something like this, is listening, that wants to be a part of it?
Yeah, so you can become a part of Fight for Zero. We have different levels. Our most popular level is the grassroots level, and that's typically where somebody, if you are interested in taking water samples, we have a couple studies going on right now, one with the University of Florida, another one with a national coalition, and so you could get involved that way. And there's a couple other ways too. You can be a part of our newsletter, and we put out call to actions. So that way, if we'll say we need a letter sent out, with your leaders, and we kind of try to give templates and give everybody the tools and the resources.
Yeah.
So it makes it a lot easier for you guys to get involved without feeling overwhelmed. Because I notice a lot of times people get overwhelmed. Everybody has their lives. They go to work and they have jobs, and they don't have the time to be going to city council meetings. And that's where we fill in the gaps.
Now, the state senators, you're dealing with them too. You're going from a local level to a state level.
And a federal level. I've
And-
already been to Washington, D.C.
Okay, you're doing federal
Nice.
level too. That's
Mhm.
awesome. Go ahead, Frank.
Yeah, so what I think is hard for people to understand, we live in an area where there's giant industrial complexes, right? And
Yes.
until those giant industrial complexes, without saying any names, are forced to make differences, are forced to make changes, or they're pressured to make these changes, nothing is going to happen. And I know personally, Stel doesn't know this, but I started watching her work long ago. I watched posts she was doing a long time ago, because we've been doing similar research for a long time. I've been doing the research from the animal side,
Animal side, yep.
while she's been looking at the health side of it for a long time. So for I've been saying a long time a lot. For a very long period of time, I've been watching this, and I think in 2017, I reached out to you, and I said, I don't know if you've know about this or not, but a lot of this research you guys are talking about, we've kind of already done. It's stuff we've already been working on. And we just recently, through North Carolina State, we finally got our permit accessed to be doing more of this with alligators around the county. And we're going to be doing this through North Carolina State. And if you're willing, we were talking about it a couple of days ago on a Zoom conference. If you're willing to share some of the information you guys have, some of your crowdsourcing information of where these clusters you're seeing at, we're going to go catch animals in those areas and see if it correlates. Because we were talking about this before you guys got here. This isn't who's the best situation, who's doing it right, who's doing it wrong. You need to take all this information, put it together, and make a difference. All from different angles, from every different angle. And if we get
You're all trying to accomplish the same goal.
right, if we all get the data that says the same thing, which it's going to say the same thing, then something will have to change. And that's the goal here. There's a serious problem. There's something very, very bad going on, and it has to be fixed.
Yeah.
Isn't that what they say about every, like, big corporations in Florida? You got Big Sugar that terrorizes the aquifer, the whole flow of all of Belglades, the whole area down there in Lake Okeechobee. We get all the other runoff, which is a whole different issue. That people have been fighting that for how long? I mean, at the highest levels, and haven't even what have they done?
I can definitely address that. So
good. Yeah.
One of the things that is very difficult is holding the polluters accountable, especially in the state of Florida.
Yeah.
So there is a movement happening as we speak where they're trying to change the law so that they can hold these polluters accountable, because that's what's against us right now.
Yeah.
Is that we have no laws that allow us to hold these polluters accountable, and we get fees here and there and some slaps on the wrist, but we're not really able to truly hold them accountable. And so one of those movements is called Rights of Nature, and so they're trying to give the rights to some waterways, similar to how they do to corporations, so that they can file lawsuits on behalf of the waterways. And so that's one movement, and I think that people are looking at those ways
are great
to combat
resources, and any types of things like that, we have no problem. We want to share them on our websites. We want to share them, and
the thing I love about this is this day and age where everything's politicized.
Yeah,
Everything.
yeah.
You're not wearing shoes. That political. Everybody brings up shit about politics.
Yeah.
Like where we live, but it's true.
Shiny legs, man. They're too
Shut up.
shiny.
Where we live in Brevard County, like the people that are from this area that might be conservative love this area. They love the nature. They love the fishing.
Yep.
They love the sport. And then you have the other side, which just wants to make it a clean world. So everybody can work together on it.
Yeah, and
There should be
scientific
zero
data,
politicization of any of this.
scientific data proves the fact. If there's a problem,
It's science.
so everybody understands what science is.
A little bit.
You
I
can-
went to THS.
I don't know.
Well, what I mean? You can have
I went to Titusville High School.
you can have faith in God
So not a
and
lot.
still understand what science is.
Yeah. Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? That seems to be the biggest misconception of anything. I'm a super faithful person.
Yep.
But there's people that believe you can't put faith and science together. You can 100% put faith and science together. They work together. Science is science. It is what it is.
It's common sense.
Yeah,
it's you know what I'm saying. Putting the two together and
It is. It's true. For some people, I tell people all the time, space flight is beautiful. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love that we live here and where we're at. But people got to understand, when you have a giant industrial complex like that, it's going to cause problems. It's dirty. It is what it is.
Yeah.
You get
Everything comes at a cost.
Right. It does.
Yeah.
The space flight's never going to stop here. We got to figure out a way to make it cleaner.
Yeah. And it's about working together with those people that want it to be cleaner. You know what I mean? If I'm a huge corporation and I'm, trying to, and I need to do something better and be better, just like they're trying to make a cheaper and better rocket, or just like someone's trying to make this better, there's always science trying to make things cleaner as well. And there needs to be just either a department in a corporation that's their, thing, and maybe they hire people that have that expertise.
They have those.
Yes, they do.
But not to just do whatever. You're exactly right. To have some accountability within
they have those,
how
but
you practice your business and how it affects the people around you. And I think that's the same thing if you open a strip club in Titusville, all the neighborhoods around you are going to be
took
like,
a left turn.
they're all going to be like, what the hell's going on here? Like, the husbands are all gone. They're not here anymore.
Oh my
Where do
God.
we
You know what I'm saying? It's going to be,
is
everybody's going to
happening?
be at city council, and it's going to immediately, that place is going to get shut down.
Well,
It don't happen. It doesn't happen for.
There's already people like that behind those corporations, but until they're forced to change things or pressured into changing it, they're not going to change it.
That's why we can't get a Chick-fil-A in
Exactly.
Titusville.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We need a
Dear
Chick-fil-A.
We really, really
my
do.
garage. You guys are hilarious.
Yeah, 'cause I'm sure it's expensive to make that kind of change, and until somebody, like she said, until
money.
they are held accountable,
Oh.
they are not going to do it.
Major things. I mean, rocket fuel itself. I mean, everything about spaceflight. And it's not just spaceflight. I'm not picking on the Space Center. I wish Chris was here to defend it because I would love to hear what he had to say.
Chris is dying right now.
Well, he is. No,
You're kind
so
of picking on it.
it's not just that. If you think about all the industrial areas there are around here and everything that's going on, I mean, there's so many places that build so many things and do so much around here that you're going to 100% have side effects from that.
And just Chris, I think he agrees. Like he's the type of person that would 100% want what's best. Just because he works and does video for a company that could be a target, and doing something. All of us are. I'm in the transportation business, so we have semi trucks going across the country bringing produce back and forth to big companies.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And there's emission things, and we were part of programs, and we try to do better. But I mean, if you look at the footprint of what we're doing, it's not pretty. So it's not like, we have to just own what we have in front of us.
True.
And that's all people want is when you have the wall and saying this ain't happening or I ain't going to do nothing about it. That's the issue with all of society, in my opinion, with the division that we all have right now. It's like make fun of yourself, laugh at yourself, admit your faults. You know what I'm saying? And better things will come from that.
I think Stel would be the first person to tell you a lot of those companies and those corporations would be happy to change the things. But why change it if they're not being forced to change it? If there's no regulations saying you need to change it, why are they going to spend extra money to change it?
It takes an individual that's looking at someone that's telling them how they can make more money. You know what I mean? And a lot of times that money gets a little.
I got about changing it. DeSantis put in the that Senate bill, the 712 Clean Waterways Act. Yeah, and that's what I've gotten from it too. Is like it was just almost a slap in the face.
Yeah.
Speak about it,
can you
Stel.
reiterate?
Do I
speak
need
about-
to?
speak about-
You don't have to. You don't have to. But I read the literature of the bill, and it's.
Well, if you
it's
look
not.
in that bill, they actually try to preempt the rights of nature movement.
Yeah.
What I just told you about with them trying to create their own laws, and they're not for home rule. And I do believe in home rule because, our local city council knows their hometown the best.
Home rule. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Right. So home rule is where your local city governments can make their own basically rules. Like they can ban straws, they can ban styrofoam, but then when you get the state that steps in, and I'm just trying to simplify it. So
perfect.
Okay. So when you get the state to step in, they try to stop them from being able to make their own rules by saying, well, you're not allowed to ban, nobody's allowed to ban the styrofoam. And so you've got certain cities, for instance, that are right on the beach. Like this is a perfect example, who are dealing with a serious issue, whether it's, plastic pollution, and they know their towns best. These city council, they live in these areas.
For
You have to
sure.
remember, so they want what's best for their hometown for the most part. So when they're making some of these rules, like banning straws or trying to get rid of styrofoam, they're not doing it, just because. They're doing it because they feel that it would be a benefit to the community.
It's the best interest of their local
They're
community.
the communities with the most to lose. They're the
Right.
ones that should have the loudest voice.
Mhm.
I have a kind of stupid question. So
She went to
exactly
THS too.
how are those pollutants getting in there? Is it because they're dumping it into a certain thing, like a certain waterway that we're using? Like they're just dumping, like you said, like with the pizza boxes. Like, okay, that kind of threw me off.
Mhm.
So what is it like? How does that? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. No. So, like, how are we getting exposed?
Yes.
Basically.
Yeah. Like,
Uh-huh.
yeah. How does it get in our water?
So, okay, we got to kind of look at, decades ago, we didn't know this much about the emerging contaminants. It's known as emerging contaminant. So, decades ago, we didn't treat our water the way we treat it now. It's probably a lot cleaner as far as our drinking water goes. But as far as exposure in our drinking water, for instance, we have an extremely poor infrastructure. We all know that, right? We all get poo going into our Indian River Lagoon. We have these
All the
spills.
time.
Oh, yeah. And that's an indication that we have poor infrastructure. So every time you have a water main pipe burst, when they tell you boil your water. By the way, don't do that. Don't do that.
It actually increases the levels, right?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
It gets rid of bacteria, but it volatilizes other harmful contaminants. So you shouldn't be boiling your water. But back
Say that one more time so people
Okay,
understand it, because it's
so
100% true, and people need to get that.
when you boil your water, you are boiling out, bacteria, but you're volatilizing, making these other chemicals, harmful chemicals. You're breathing them in, and it's going into the air when
Gotcha.
you boil them.
Think about that for a second. Every time you get a boil
So I
water
can't make
warning,
spaghetti anymore.
No, just kidding.
I
Filter
know,
your
I know.
water.
I know, exactly. I know.
you're cracking me up, Scott.
So it's basically from all the infrastructure stuff
Yeah,
breaking
so that's
down.
a part of it. It's a very complex issue, and that's why it's so difficult. But yeah, that's a part of it. Every time you have a water main pipe break, you have a risk of that getting into your pipes, right? And then also you have to think about your water treatment facility, right? Where's the water treatment facility here in Titusville? I think it's off Garden Street. Well,
Right by
where's your
where I
house
work.
here? Think about how far that
Yeah.
water has to travel from the water treatment facility all the way to your home. What could it potentially be picking up in those pipes all the way back to your home?
Yeah.
And then people don't update their pipes the way they're
Well,
supposed to.
think about it this way. We're in a state that has, we're a salty climate first off, okay? Then we have cast iron under how much of a percentage? Like, my ex-wife's buying a house right now that's having all of that replaced because she's by a waterway, right at South Lake, like just right there. And it's all cast iron, all running all into the ground.
People are putting
I mean,
cat litter in washers,
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
that's
getting in the lines,
huge
and
problem.
dryers apparently too.
and
Yeah.
dryers.
God.
Jesus.
I got one.
That blew my mind, by the way.
You should have seen the look on my face when I walked in. I saw the cat litter thing sitting on top of our freezer next to him. I'm like, why is it? And I picked it up and I just bought it that day. I'm like, it's empty. And I looked over in the washing machine. I'm like, oh my God.
So funny.
Anyways.
So when people are hearing about this stuff from Stel, they got to understand they're hearing about top end science and things that are happening here right now. You got to really take this into really think about what's going on here. Think about it.
I feel like that's the thing is like, a lot of these things that have happened that are the worst happened a long time ago without the correct information. And now that as the correct information comes, it's so hard to like, what do you believe? What do you don't believe? Because things that have come out factual 20 years later become not, there's a history of misinformation and things that we got this wrong and that. So people get so confused that they do nothing. Right. I mean, is that kind of...
Yeah, I think they get overwhelmed. I always call it getting overwhelmed because
Yeah.
it's just so much information to take in. And some people get really scared of the information. And one of the things I always tell them is like, arm yourself with knowledge, man. Like that's what you got to be doing these
Our
days.
education as a society is
Yeah.
vital.
Yes, it really is because you can protect your family, protect yourselves, and at the end of the day, once you get a cancer diagnosis, the rest of your life is changed. You don't want to get to that point of waiting and just to see if it happens. Why not protect yourself now and take care of your health? It's cheaper to do it now than wait.
With that, how is your family now?
So my uncle passed as soon as he got his cancer.
Oh.
Our family dog obviously passed, and then my father just passed in February. So we
And
lost
this all
people.
stems back from that.
Yeah,
Wow.
basically from being poisoned from, tainted water. And you talk about now and the science now, right? You also have to think about, oh my God, how much worse was it decades ago? Because, we work with an oncologist, and she brought up these cancer clusters, as you call them, and they don't typically show up for about 15 to 20 years. And this is the exact time frame that we're seeing it. It's like lining right up. So what did we drink or what were we exposed to 10, 15 years ago? And that's why it's so difficult to establish cancer clusters.
And
Hey, I got a quick question. Julie Greenwald,
Yes.
do you know her?
Yes.
Okay. Is she the oncologist?
She's the oncologist.
Yeah, I had I read a news story about her today, and she was from that area.
From Satellite Beach.
Satellite
She went to
Beach.
Satellite High School.
Went to Satellite High. I saw the news story, and I was like, oh, man. That's so wild.
And it's so hard for doctors and oncologists and experts to speak out because they risk their job. And so, it took a lot of bravery and courage for her. I remember having conversations with her back and forth, and she was like, well, why don't you go to the news and talk to them? And I said, you're the oncologist. And we need you to,
And she did, too.
She did. And
Yeah.
it was incredible. And I will always be thankful for her voice
Yeah, that's amazing.
in this.
Do you have any local leaders, local politicians that are really pushing on your side that we need to know about?
Well, for the longest time, we really just spent a lot of time educating our local leaders. And I will have to say, Congressman Posey has been, he has started getting really on board with different regulations on PFAS. He's been voting in favor of, things that would hold, accountable. For instance, there was a bill about firefighters and, requiring them to ensure that the firefighters get some kind of medical care or monitoring because they are really exposed to this stuff. Think about how much they're exposed, and a lot of firefighters are getting multiple myeloma, and diseases and things from the things that they're exposed to in their workplace, and it's in their clothing, by the way.
It's happening a little bit in my job field too.
So what I think might be important for you to explain to people real quick, when you say forever chemical in the human body, what does that mean? So everybody knows about what half-lives are and things like that about chemicals. Really explain the details of what a forever chemical is and how you're dosed with it and how it works and how you end up with mutations and stuff like that, how it all works.
Well, yeah, you okay, so I'll try here.
Sorry, complicated question.
Yeah, it is kind of. I mean, so when you get this chemical in your body, it basically stays in your body for 8 years. I try to simplify everything I say because I know sometimes it's
kind of like when you chew gum and it stays in your belly for 7 years.
Yeah, I mean, there you go.
Is that real? Is that true?
I don't know.
I think so.
Somebody Google that.
No, it is not.
I'm pretty smart.
Your body can't digest it. Doesn't mean you won't pass it.
Pretty smart.
Yeah. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Good grief.
Oh my goodness.
Hilarious.
Yeah. So, it stays in your body for about 8 years. But if you're exposed to it every year, that just every 8 years, it's in your body for a long time. There was actually some cities where they did blood testing and they showed extremely high levels of it in their blood, children's blood, and this stuff gets passed down in fetuses and your babies, things like that. So. And as far as genetics, so you'll hear a lot of people say like, I drank the water all my life and I'm okay. I always say it that way.
Yeah.
But I just,
When I read it on Facebook, that's the same
Yeah.
voice that's saying it in my head because you have to be, God,
I mean, but it's
Might
like,
be the title of the episode.
I've been drinking that water since I was a kid.
yeah. My response to that is, you have incredible genetics then, and you're very lucky because genetics does play a factor in this,
yeah.
And so there's a certain genetic make that if you have certain genes and they don't know exactly what, but if you're exposed to certain things, you're more susceptible to getting cancer.
Yeah.
And so some people just have incredible immune systems, and I'm super envious of them because, I mean, I wish I did, but you also have a vulnerable population too, and one of your vulnerable populations is what? Children.
Yep.
Children. So when we're exposed when we're younger, we're getting a lot more. Think about how much kids drink.
It's basically like a cup being nonstop filled
Right.
up, right? The cup's never emptying, but whenever you get to a certain level on that cup, a switch is going to flip and you're in a lot of trouble.
Yep.
We need to raise our empathy game, just as a society. People being more empathetic towards other people's.
And being aware,
issues
man.
and
People
causes.
need to be
It's a
aware
very-
of what's going on.
Now, do you do
yeah, I'm
like
shocked right now.
any? I'm trying to think fundraisers, like going out and doing stuff.
Actually, everything we've done is extremely grassroots, and people just like send us checks here and there, and we've done some Facebook fundraisers. But I spent, the past year applying for grant after grant after grant. We were awarded 2 grants, and one with the University
wow.
of Florida and one with a
Great.
national coalition.
That's
Oh, that's
awesome.
awesome.
So
That's
I try to
fantastic.
stay really grassroots. I know my organization seems like, you know, super big, and it's just because we have like really awesome skills and know how to do websites and SEO and, you know,
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
She's a hammer.
I need
like
to learn
said.
that stuff.
yeah. That website, your website's awesome.
I did the website.
Website's awesome.
Yeah,
Thank
Alright.
you.
it is really good.
You're gonna do ours then soon.
The woman's no joke.
So, going out, holding signs, doing anything like
Oh.
that.
Oh,
What-
yeah.
What are we doing?
So the past
My daughter's so excited for
the past few
bet.
Saturdays, I dressed up as a poop emoji.
Excuse
and
me?
Oh, my garage.
I can't wait to run by you.
Stop.
I'm gonna go. Let's go jog by her.
And
Oh.
I walked over the Amax Brewer Bridge, and I've been holding a sign that says "Clean this up." Clean
Yeah.
this poop up.
yeah.
you know?
Clean this shit up.
Yeah, that's exactly what I put.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I was wearing the poop emoji because I don't know if you've seen our Indian River Lagoon, because this goes beyond our
Yeah,
drinking
it's-
water.
oh, yeah, it's
all,
terrible.
It's
The
all
algae,
connected.
all the blooming.
Yeah.
That algae bloom stuff with all the sugar that we're getting from down in Okeechobee and everything, it's ridiculous.
There's so much more than the sugar and Okeechobee
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
If you think about, there's cities around here that spill lots of bad things into our lagoon
Yeah.
once a month. Just about once a month, they're spilling hundreds
Yeah.
of thousands of gallons of poop into our lagoon. It happens all the time. A lot
I know,
of
I
you
don't
see
even
it.
wanna fish
You'll
in
see it in the
it.
newspaper. You
Sewage.
see it everywhere.
And then
Yeah,
we
it's-
take our
it's some
kids
bad
out there to
stuff.
Yep.
swim in it.
Oh no!
Every
No,
time I see
I
it-
don't.
Not anymore.
Every time I see
No, I
that,
don't.
I can't believe people are doing
Sewage.
that. I'll see people on the beach over there by the FWC building and think, y'all are out of your
Yeah.
minds.
Playland Beach, can you go there?
I mean, I go to Playland Beach. I go
do
there
all the
often.
time.
Yeah,
me
the
too.
beach is one
I
thing.
love
The
it.
river's
I
a whole
do
different
too.
story.
Yeah.
Love that
Yeah.
place.
Yeah, the beach is one thing. The river's a whole different story.
Yeah, the river whole
Yeah,
different
it's
The
story.
really
people
true.
dumping the poop, is this the same people all the time? This isn't legal, obviously, right?
It's
Cities
neighbors. They
doing
go
it.
run out and they just throw it
No,
in.
cities
It's
do it.
ridiculous.
Why?
Cities do it and they pay the fine.
Oh my God.
Did you?
Look up Cocoa
Oh.
Beach. What
I
Cocoa
thought
they're
they were
if they're
accidents
surprised
when
by
things
that-
broke. I
Yeah.
didn't know that they were
Oh my
like just
gosh.
doing
Isn't that
it.
why
If
Titusville's
they're
water
surprised by
bills
that,
are
they
so
should learn
high?
about biosolids.
Yeah, look up the history of Cocoa Beach and
Oh, God.
look up the history of Cocoa Beach and the amount of poop they put into the river over the years.
Oh yeah.
It'll blow your mind.
Hasn't Titusville been fined like multiple times, like a lot of money? That's why our
Yeah.
water
They've
bill.
got-
Like
Well, I
I'm
don't know
on
about the
Mims.
water
I'm on the
bill.
Mims water side here, so we use the other one that's over off of Holder Road. Is our water place?
Typically, your water bills go up because they have to, treat your water better, and so they've obviously had water quality issues with their drinking water, so they got to find a way to compensate for that.
Titusville's notorious for that.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
remember back in the day. I think it's years ago. There was like some heavy fines, and that's what my dad and all them used to tell me.
Yeah, that's
when our water bill went up.
Well, their bill,
Yeah.
what's $100-something a month in Titusville?
Yeah, there was
And
an
I'm
open-
in Port St. John, it's $26
yeah, I'm like
a month.
40, $50, and I got a
Holy
pool and
man.
everything. It's
There
ridiculous.
have been so many open pipes along the river for so long. They've been fixed over the past few years for the most part, but I remember going down there and catching gators, and you'd see open pipes with stuff pouring out in the river. It's just,
I
you'd
can't
see
wait
it.
to go in a pipe and get a gator out of it. I'm gonna do it one day.
Then we wonder
All right, buddy,
why
I'll
our
pop-
river is the way it is.
Yeah, it's so
You know?
bad. It's so bad.
I'll pop the manhole for you, Scott, and put you down there.
There you go.
I'll
Scott's
stand
all
there.
about popping the manholes. You guys want to take a little break?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a break.
Cool.
especial. El 12 de octubre es un día especial. Y eso ahí. October, 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 October. Who cares why?
Your face painting videos.
Oh, thank
I've been
you.
enjoying them.
Yeah, I saw those too.
Yeah, they're
Those are
badass.
cool.
Those are just for fun, guys. Like,
It's awesome.
Yeah,
stuff.
they're
it's just,
cool as hell.
Yeah, they're pretty amazing.
yeah. So before this whole water ordeal and me getting cancer, I actually traveled across the United States and did photography, and I also did makeup for shoots, like actual model photography shoots. And so what I do every Halloween, because I'm like obsessed with Halloween, I love Halloween.
Okay.
And so I typically do 31 days of Halloween, and so every day of October, I'll either do a makeup look, you know, and do something fun like that and do a video, or we'll do like a baking thing at my house, or we'll do a science project where, you know, we blow up stuff and green stuff comes out of it. But
That's awesome.
yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah, we do like really cool stuff, and it all like revolves around Halloween themed stuff that we
Okay.
do. And so it's just like something we do every year. It's like something I do with my kids, and they love it.
Do you
That's
have
so
like
cool.
do you have like a specific Halloween movie?
No, I
You don't have-
there's too
Or
many that
a
I like.
character.
Are you
Is there a
kidding
favorite
me?
character?
Nothing.
Allie watched House of a
Mm.
Thousand Corpses
No, she didn't.
this weekend.
She's 12 years old.
She chose it.
You're a fucking problem.
She chose
There's no way.
That is legit a category for tomorrow night's trivia.
What?
House of a Thousand Corpses?
No, different characters in Halloween movies.
Oh yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
it's
Yeah.
it's happening tomorrow night.
By the way, the sound thing, I don't
Mhm.
think it's affecting the show at all. It shouldn't be.
Okay.
And if it is, I can fix that too. But I'm like having a little breakdown over here in my brain
You're right.
because
Uh-oh.
I was up to like 2 a.m. getting that fixed because it started last week when me and him recorded. And it's one of these little sounds that
If
you
Charley
can't
was
figure
here, it would
out.
never
change,
happened.
Yeah, change and drop. I'm doing
Trying
all
to
this
tell you,
different
man.
stuff, and I had it like for like an hour today running perfectly, and then right when we sat down and got started within like 10 minutes, boom, it started. So yeah, I'm having fun with it.
Okay, so before we get Cindy, before we talk about all this, tell me about the cookie butter. Like it's
This is the most amazing thing
It's
I
so
ever eaten.
I love it when people first try this.
I took one bite and went, "Oh, I'm not an adult anymore."
I know.
Yeah, it's so good. That's why you got to
going
eat it
on
as a spoon.
everything.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Apples, crepes. We taught
Apples.
Frank what a crepe is.
Yeah, crepe.
I still don't quite understand. but
What's a
yeah.
crepe? I don't know what that is.
I never heard.
a gator with it?
Yeah.
Excuse me, but I ain't ever heard what one of these here crepe things.
Will stop me
y'all
from
eat.
running it into shells.
A French crepe.
Will it protect me from being bitten by an alligator? 'Cause
Yeah.
If not, I'm not sure.
It'll
it's
keep your
gonna-
mind off it, buddy. Especially if it's got cookie butter on it.
Should put one in the next coloring book, man. We'll put a crepe in there. so
Have
someone
you?
can color
Have
it.
you? The big question is though: Have
Yes.
you ate more crepes than you can ever remember?
No, I'm not that guy. I'm not an internet. I'm not a social media gangster. Anyways, tough guy. Cindy, let's get back to you being the director of victim services for North Brevard Division of the Women's Center for Brevard. How did this happen, and how long have you been doing it?
Oh God, how did it happen? Years ago, almost 10 years ago.
Oh wow.
I decided I was a young single mom working as a bartender, decided to go back to school, needed volunteer hours. And my best friend at the time, thank God, said, I just got a job at a new center that's opening up and I need a ton of help and we can't pay anyone. So can you volunteer?
Nice.
Absolutely.
Oh man.
So my first year with the center, I was actually a volunteer. And after that first year, I came on board as a victim advocate, which I've done for the past 9 years.
Okay.
In May, I took over as director, so it's been a huge adjustment.
Congratulations.
Sure.
Thank you.
That's
Perfect
awesome.
time in the
That's
middle of a
awesome.
pandemic.
I know, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Take over.
That was
Abort.
not something.
Perfect timing.
Yeah.
When you say victim advocate, what does that mean?
Yeah, good question. It means whatever a victim needs it to mean.
No.
In summary, we help victims with identifying what steps do they need to take to get safe.
Mm-hmm.
What support do you need, or where do you need to go from here?
If that's
Okay.
man, woman, or child, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Despite being called the Women's Center, we actually do help victims of any gender, age, range. It doesn't matter. We'll help anyone.
Now, what resources do you offer?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
So here in Titusville, we are the smaller satellite office of our main office, which is down in Melbourne. Throughout both of our locations, we have victim services programs as well as counseling. We have a transitional housing program. We also have 2 safe houses. Up here in Titusville, our safe house is a communal living facility. We can have multiple families staying there at the same time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and
That's
because
nice.
we are privately funded, which is a double-edged sword,
I
because
bet.
we are privately
I bet.
funded as opposed to some of the other shelters, we can actually customize the stay for our clients depending on whatever they need.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
somebody who's got 5 children and no car and no job is going to need a lot longer than somebody that's making $60,000 a year
Yes. Yeah.
and is a single woman.
Yep.
So we have, because of the generosity of the community and because of the fact that we are privately funded, we have the ability to really customize services for our clients as they need.
Wow.
From the first time somebody calls, a victim advocate really meets them where they're at.
Yeah.
Every story is different. Every survivor is looking for something different. Some people call and the first thing out of their mouth is, I got to get out. And that's where you start. Others call and say, something's wrong with my relationship. I don't really know what, but people keep telling me I need help. People keep telling me I need to call. So I'm calling, but I don't know why I'm calling.
Yeah.
That's where you start.
That's a good start.
Yeah. So victim advocates really help clients identify for themselves where they want to go next, whether
Okay.
that be filing a protective order. People call them restraining orders here in Florida.
Yeah.
they're
Protective.
They're
orders.
actually called
Yep.
an injunction for protection.
Yep.
Whether that be getting into a safe house, looking for employment, looking for counseling, looking to relocate.
Oh, you offer all that.
We do.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So through our safe housing programs, our case managers actually work one-on-one with each client that comes in. If you need help learning how to write a resume, that's where we start. If you need to practice like you're going to an interview, that's where we start.
Wow.
If you're going to court, that's where we start. We'll role play and say, okay, here are some things that judges might ask in court. What do you say if somebody says this?
Yeah.
Because some of the things that come up in court they're pretty shocking. It's not.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, again, people are individuals and they're going to have their own crazy ideas.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, the Women's Center is 400 Julia Street, Titusville, Florida.
That's our
Where
main
you're-
office.
Where you're at.
That is.
Okay.
At
And
that office, we do the victim advocacy and we do counseling.
where do you accept donations at?
We accept donations at our upscale resale store on Hopkins.
Yep.
It's MJ's, the old MJ's.
Good old
Yes.
MJ's.
Yeah.
The old
I
MJs.
still cannot believe it when I walked in there one day and I was just like, I only went in because I was like, how could they? I worked at MJ's for 2 years,
If
2.5
those walls
years.
could talk.
I was like, how do they get the cigarette smell out of the building? Like it's seeped
I
into
was
it.
so
but
drunk at this square
it was,
right here.
It
in
was
this
so
spot.
impressive because like, yeah, they cleared out that whole area. Yeah.
The first day we walked in to
Did
tour
a fantastic
that building,
job.
the first thing I said because most of the people that were involved in making that decision were from our Melbourne office. They didn't grow up with MJ's.
Yeah, they didn't know anything about
The first
how
thing I said was,
terrible that place was.
FYI, we are going to have to gut this whole building.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
But
light,
you'd
light
never know.
sage,
It's-
running through with some sage.
We
and just,
actually did that.
Yeah, I would too. It was
It's
MJ's.
beautiful. You would never know.
No,
Yeah.
you wouldn't.
It really is nice.
It blew my mind. I mean, like, I'm somebody who was at MJ's literally every single day for 2.5 years. So I walked in, I was like, damn, this is impressive. Like, I couldn't even picture the old place.
Yeah.
Like,
That store has really been a pivotal thing for the Titusville office.
And we were talking while we weren't recording with this pandemic and everything going on. Donations, it's been a little harder to get this year.
It has. Unfortunately, we had to cancel all of our major fundraisers this year. We
Yeah.
were very lucky and got to do our trivia event in February.
Yes. Yeah.
Everything after that so far we've had to cancel. So that store has been what's really been keeping us afloat.
Yeah.
are you still taking donations right now? Like closed donations and everything?
We are. Now that store helps us in 2 ways. One, the income that comes in from people that aren't clients shopping there, that goes right into funding our services. It's entirely nonprofit.
Yeah.
But also our clients, when they leave, they're often leaving with nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they're ready to start over, we give them a voucher. They go there. Anything they need for their new house, they take no cost to them. Clothing, all
That's
of
so
that.
awesome.
I'm gonna bring
Sheets,
so much
lids.
stuff tomorrow. Like, no joke, I have so much, but I didn't think that I was allowed to donate right now because
Yes,
of COVID.
absolutely.
It's good to know.
Absolutely.
You know, because a lot of people donate to the SPCA, which another has other, you know, they have their
They're
thrift
amazing
store.
too.
And
Yeah.
everybody has their calls in,
Yeah.
and they're all great, and they're all helping somebody. But I've been hearing about you, of the upscale resale and how it benefits you.
It's Jody's upscale resale. What's it called? Is it just upscale resale? I don't know.
I think it's just upscale resale.
Upscale resale. Why did I say
Who's
Jody's?
Jody?
Yeah, where
Why are
you?
you thinking of Jody?
No, I'm telling you right now. I'm Googling it. There's one in Melbourne. I
Talking
think.
to a Jody.
You guys take so.
I believe you. I believe you.
So is there women and men's clothes there? Like, you
There
take all
is.
of it? Okay.
Yes, and children.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, when my
It's in
mother-in-law
Melbourne.
passed away, she had a lot of really nice clothing. Like, she passed away from cancer and she wanted it donated to there. So we
Oh,
brought
that's
all of it
amazing.
there. And it was like, I know that when we dropped it off, when they looked through it, I'm like, they're going to be so shocked. Because, I mean, it was like 20 pairs of brand new Nike sneakers that she never wore, everything. But right now I was like, oh, well, I don't know if I can bring my husband's stuff there. Can I have
There's-
so much stuff I need to get rid
anything.
of.
Nice stuff there. I bought this pair of dress pants there. No joke.
I buy my
Yeah,
work
they have
clothes
nice
there
stuff.
myself.
Yeah.
I go on Saturdays when they're
It's-
open,
yeah,
and
there's-
I buy my work clothes there.
It's really,
Okay, so
really
they're
nice.
they're taking donations right now. So
Yes.
all you guys out there that are listening to this,
If you don't follow the Facebook page, follow it. They're
Yep.
sharing constant updates right now of what their hours are changing frequently to accommodate their needs for
Yeah.
coronavirus. Right now, they're closed on Mondays and Tuesdays, so they have time to deep clean, sanitize, do things like that. So they stay on top of posting anytime they're going to be closed for an extended period or anything like that.
I just did it. It's Women's Center Upscale Resale Store.
It is.
Perfect. I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
When you first were asked to help at the very beginning, and you said within a year, then you know it just kind of kept going and going. What kept you there? Like, what kept you going there? Like, what's in your heart?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I'm a survivor myself.
Okay.
But also getting to do a job where I see every day people's lives being changed. It's amazing. There's nothing like that. And there are more hard days than there are not.
Yeah,
People ask me
sure.
all the time, "Oh,
Yeah.
why do you do that? How do you do that?" Because these things are happening whether we help or not.
Yeah.
So at least I know I get to make a difference in that.
Mm-hmm.
And every year that I have done this, we have, as an agency, seen our numbers increase every single year.
Wow.
And when I started doing this, I thought, well, you know, I had a lot of ideas. I had stars in my eyes. You know,
Yeah.
one concept of what helping was going to be like.
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird profession to be in, where you hope that one day your job is never needed,
Yeah.
and then you
Yeah.
find out that that's probably not the case.
Yeah.
And I would think it would be backwards even,
Yeah.
and it's because you know in the old days you could hide your
Yeah.
beat your kids, right? Like
Yeah.
you could like or whatever the case may be. Like, you know, I was hit a lot as a kid. You know, we all have our traumas and this and that, and come to terms with it in their own ways. And then you have to, when you become a parent, find your way with your children and your surroundings and your spouses, and all down the line, right?
Yeah.
You would think that with education and with things getting bigger, and like more information, the internet.
Oh,
This sounds
we're fixing to see
real
something
bad.
right now. Please don't beat the computer up, man.
We're getting all serious, but meanwhile, crackling in our headphones is out of control.
Oh no.
There it goes.
There it goes. It's beautiful. I think this year has done a lot too. They said a lot with the quarantine and people being at home. And
It has. That's been one of the biggest things is, I used to have this idea that helping was going to mean once we were being effective, our numbers would go down and we wouldn't be needed. And
yeah.
that's not true. That's not reality. I know
Yeah.
that now. The sad reality that we knew going into this lockdown and going into quarantine and all of it is that it was essential to protect the lives of hundreds of thousands of people. But for victims,
It creates a
it
lot
was
of
going to be
victims
devastating.
too. Yeah. Sure.
Being with so many people that were deemed non-essential and either working from home or laid off, being locked in your house 24/7 with your perpetrator is devastating.
Yeah.
You can only walk on eggshells so long before
Yeah.
something's going
And there's
to
so many psychological issues that people haven't even as a come to grips with.
We haven't
Or
figured it
even
out
understand.
yet.
We don't know any of this yet. We're going through this all blind.
And the hardest part of that was, as practitioners, while we were in lockdown, we knew this was happening.
And there's
We knew
nothing you
our
can-
clients need us. They can't call.
They can't
You
call.
can't call. Normally, when people reach out to us, it's when their perpetrator has left for the
Ugh.
morning to go to work or to go to the bar or whatever it is they do. That's when
Mhm.
they call. They call when
Yeah.
it's safe, when nobody's there. When you're with somebody 24/7, it's hard to call.
Yeah.
So once things started to be relaxed and restrictions started to be lifted, our calls have started going through the roof. We are getting more calls a day now than I think we've ever gotten in
Wow.
my entire career.
Unbelievable.
And that's the hard part is we as an agency network with so many other agencies. No one agency in this field can do it alone. So many agencies are at capacity right now. And you don't want to turn anyone away. So it's a constant battle of where can we find funding to do this? Where
Wow.
we've got people in hotels, we have become as creative as we could be because we had to limit our communal living environment. You can't have 20 people of different families living on top of each other sharing.
Yeah.
So we had to get creative. It's been hard. It's been a unique year for us.
So at one point, while you're kind of sad people are having to reach out for help, it's amazing that more people than normal are reaching out for help because it means you're becoming more, people are becoming more aware to what you're doing.
That's been the beautiful thing is it seems like every year more and more people know about us. And things like this is how that gets out there. Nonprofits don't, Stel knows this.
Yeah.
Nonprofits don't have funding to advertise. You know,
Yeah.
we're not buying billboards. We're not, people know about us because people talk about us.
Mhm.
That is the biggest way people can support our cause. And that's why I'm so happy to be here because this
Yeah.
month is Domestic Violence Awareness
Wow.
Month.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes, it is.
It is.
You know, I didn't when I worked at Publix and we were volunteering for United Way, they gave us a tour of one of the safe houses that I didn't even know existed, and it was impressive. And I was thinking there's so many women out there that don't know that this is an option because like yeah, you think that there's a number you can call and that they'll give you resources, but they don't realize like you can literally have a place to stay that is safe that they cannot find you because you can't Google it. You can't find it. And I know you guys work really hard at keeping it a secret. I mean, I can't imagine where the position you're in. You must have people trying to find their people and you have to keep them as safe as possible. And do people come after you at all?
Oh, yes.
Oh.
Yeah. What do you
all
do
the
security? What I was going to ask that. Like,
yeah, that's a great question.
what,
So
that makes me so nervous.
Kick some ass.
Uh-huh. That's a good question.
Because
Some
if they're
of these I will
abusive
answer,
anyways,
some
like,
of these I
Yeah.
won't.
Yeah.
I mean, if they have that kind of attitude anyways, you know, they're not going to give up so easy. So I would be scared to have your job. Like,
One of the biggest things I have done from the day I started is try to keep as close connections with our local law enforcement as I can.
Sure.
That's got to be a huge connection. And they then refer to you right away.
Yep. You need somewhere to sit when you type your reports? Come to our parking lot.
Yeah.
That is one of the biggest things we do is we form these strong relationships so that if there's ever anything that seems amiss, we have somebody that we can call and say, hey, can you just come do a drive-by? We're not really
Yeah.
sure. We have, state-of-the-art security systems, panic buttons.
Yeah.
We have lots of safety protocols, but you hope you never have to use them.
You have like
Yeah.
like personal body alarms.
Some of us do, yes.
Yes.
So one
okay.
of us, those of us that are on the front lines, yes.
Yep,
I would
okay.
love to keep expanding that, but
Yeah.
money.
You don't have. You have to
Money.
say
Oh, yeah.
no more to me. I work for the state. I understand completely.
yes. So that is definitely something we are always working on is what environmental things can we do to our buildings and our locations to make them safer?
For sure.
There have been times where myself and other advocates have had to have law enforcement follow us home, sit outside of
Yeah.
our houses, because we don't just do domestic violence. That's what we're most known for.
Yeah.
We do sexual assault. We work human trafficking cases. We're actually the only agency in Brevard that has housing for human trafficking victims. And I know that has become like a hot topic
Yeah.
recently, and a lot of people are learning more about it.
Yeah.
If you don't know about it, human trafficking organizations
It's
typically
huge.
don't like when their victims are rescued.
Sure. And Florida is a hot spot.
We
Like,
It
it
is.
is.
It's actually number 3 in the nation.
Yeah, it's bad.
we just got our office certified through the human trafficking with all of our drivers. We got them all
that makes
certified.
me so happy.
It's a huge cause on LinkedIn right now, and the
Yes.
women. It's a woman's directed cause, and it's about trucking because a lot of the truck drivers, they're at the truck stops where a lot of the stuff's happening. They're the ones that they see. They're the first eyes once they
Yeah.
get past our borders. that can pick
Well,
up
their
on
feet
it.
are on the
So
ground.
They're doing a
They're,
good
you know,
job with that.
It's been such a bittersweet experience to be watching all of the social media attention lately that human trafficking's gotten, because finally people are talking about it. For years when I've said, oh, we do this, we help with this, people go, human trafficking doesn't happen here.
So is
So
Wayfair
often.
really trafficking children?
Little do they know.
Okay, so that's what I was gonna say is, but the hard part is so much of what is being shared is not the reality of what trafficking really looks like.
Right.
And that's the hard part is now that's what people are looking for. People
Exactly.
are looking for these elite organizations with pizza symbols and people wearing costumes dancing around fires.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but it's the normal looking
It's a
man
brainwashing.
that works at the IT human
It's a
traffickers
control
look
and a
like all of
brainwash, and
us.
it's an aggressive
It is.
thing.
It is. And the most at-risk children are children that are in the foster care system or in homes where there is substance abuse or instability because of violence and incarceration. And that's where these children are really coming from. It's not the blonde-haired, blue-eyed, upper-middle-class child being snatched from Target.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I keep seeing shared.
It's usually victims.
Yeah.
It's usually victims.
Perpetrators that are human trafficking perpetrators do not view their victims as people. They view them as a product.
It's a commodity.
Yeah.
They want a product that they can sell the most amount of times with the least amount of effort.
Yeah.
That is not going to be that little girl that was snatched from Target that's going to be on every billboard.
Yeah.
That's going to be the kid that nobody's looking
Nobody,
for.
yeah,
The kid from the
exactly.
foster care system, the kid from the broken home.
Yeah.
Those are who are at most risk. And the reason practitioners get so upset when we see these things like, oh, there's a human trafficking ring operating out of Target is because that's what people care about now. That's what people are looking for. And now we're not looking at answers to the real problems in our society that are contributing to this.
Now you're making me feel bad for when I get a salted caramel mocha. I'm actually looking for it. So.
There's an immigration.
You can keep doing that.
There's an immigration function of that as well.
There is.
And every time we ship them back to the border, there's certain places where there's professional organizations that are just sitting there waiting to obtain and detain these people. And then they find out who these people are, who their families are. Are they rich? Can we extract money from them? Can we use them for ransom? And then they just come back into, the country to meet up with their family or whatnot. And it's a circle. And people get hurt all the time within that process. And these kids are just brainwashed. They don't know any better. So
That's why
they don't even know how to
kids.
tell because they don't know what's happening that is wrong. They're just controlled, and then it gets to a certain age. And God, it's heartbreaking.
Reminds me of that Epstein documentary.
That's
Ooh,
why
man,
they take
that's
them
a
when
rough
they're
one.
kids. Adolescents are easier to brainwash. They're easier to break down.
100%.
To convince that you're their savior, to make them dependent.
Yeah.
Well,
And that's
we
what happens
appreciate
in
all the work
husbands
you
and
do.
wives. And
That's a big deal.
it's a huge task to take on it.
Frank, you weren't kidding with these two women right here.
It's got to be. It's got to be tough.
When I use the term hero, I don't use that term a whole lot. And these two women
called me hero last
are. These two women
I
are
think he was talking about sandwich.
a couple of
Where
my
are we going with
heroes,
that?
whether or not they realize it or not. I mean, legit, they're doing impossible jobs that nobody takes notice of. They don't get the pat in the back. They don't get the, hey, you're doing a great job. But you guys are doing a great job in a thankless line of work. And I'm proud of you both. I'm proud to call you both friends, really.
Yeah, real quick, I want to do get the information out there since we're on it. Is www.womencenter.net, and the 24/7 domestic violence hotline is 321-607-6809. And then you got the sexual assault victim services 24-hour rape hotline, which is 321-784-HELP.
Yes, sir.
We can post that on our group too.
I want to get information for both causes, and I want to make sure we share that in the group and on top of the website and continue to do that.
Yeah. But you guys are amazing.
Thank you.
Frank oversold you guys, and he didn't. You guys are awesome.
100%.
You guys are great. And how can you tell us when we're taking a break that you're like, I don't know if I can talk on the mic, and then you're a gangster on the
And
mic?
absolutely kills it.
No, I'm
absolutely
not.
kills it.
So the very first time,
Lyrical gangster. You're basically Tupac.
the first
You're
time
not.
I ever had to give a presentation as a victim advocate for the Women's Center was possibly one of the most traumatic experiences of my
Yeah.
life.
If nobody would have known any better, they would have thought that was 50 years ago because you have 50 years of experience.
It feels like
you
it was.
killed it.
Social service
Yeah.
years are much like dog years. So
We-
yes.
Oh, I say that in my job too. I do say the same
Cindy and I
thing.
joke around all the time because we both deal with a lot of insane situations a lot,
Oh God.
and we're always joking back and forth about whose situation was crazier. So it's a
Can I-
nonstop.
Can
joke.
I
It was-
get in on
Yeah.
that?
It was Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and I
Yeah.
was giving information about things that we can do in the community to, as a society, start to break this generational cycle and
Yeah.
fight domestic violence. And some woman asked a question about something about men, and I said, yes, absolutely, we incorporate men because one, men are also victims.
Yeah.
But two, you can't fix a problem that affects all of society by excluding
A gender.
A portion of society.
an entire half of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And she says to me, "Oh, so you're not a feminist?" And I was highly taken aback because I am often accused of being a raging feminist.
Yeah.
And I said, "No, I most certainly am a feminist." And then this man stands up and yells, "Oh, so you hate men?"
Oh.
Oh,
And then they
Labels,
started screaming back and
labels.
forth, and I
Yeah.
thought, okay, I'm in an episode of Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
I am Leslie
Yes.
Knope,
Yeah.
and
It's a great episode to be
Yeah.
in.
and I realized that's how quickly things can
Yeah.
They
can
escalate.
spiral.
Yeah,
that's
it's-
it quickly.
Yeah.
It's so quick. It's quick, non-thinking reactions to words.
And that's the hard part is so for years my job was to just sit there and listen, which was fine. I didn't have now that I've transitioned learning to be comfortable again with speaking about what we do and talking. That's why I'm so thankful you guys brought me here because you all
Cool.
are amazing. This is amazing.
Awesome. It's a lot of fun. We love doing it. And thank you for saying that.
Yeah, aside from Frank, okay, I do know Colleen, but
That was so crazy though that you were just at Hardware a couple weeks ago.
yes.
And so after we closed, John comes up to Hardware to have his shifty because Bricks is just chaos all the time. And he was like, "Hey, I have two really good friends that, can they come up here and have a drink?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll just let them in and lock the doors behind." Well, Ron was there with his wife and Jim and I were closing. So when we were done, we were all sitting there just talking. And I brought up the podcast to her, but it wasn't like in any specifics because I didn't know who exactly what she did or anything like that. I just knew she was John's friend. So, and then all of a sudden,
She walked in, you're
with
like,
that
Frank's
title,
like,
by the way.
Frank tells me who it is, and I looked you up on Facebook. I'm like, I know her.
Don't you love that?
Yeah, it's such
That
a
is
small
awesome.
little town.
You
But-
guys are so inviting. I feel like I actually know
Awesome.
you guys, and yeah.
Well,
this is
Yeah,
we're
well, we
always
appreciate
we
it.
are we're here always, and it's just we do this in my living room. We all have jobs here in Titusville. We all work and do something, and I wanted this podcast to be just that for networking and connections and for sharing information and giving it to the public. And,
And
podcasting is a great
It's
format
like
for that.
It's like it's Colleen got Frank.
Yeah.
Frank, talk to you guys. You guys, if
100%.
you guys know people, get them on. If people need to be heard,
We did
people need to
60
know
episodes of this of just three friends that went to high school together, and after 60 episodes, it was like, okay, we're done because everybody didn't have the energy, but it was an awesome experience and trying to learn about this. Charley then hits me, we got to do this again. We have to do this again, and hit me up for months on it. And I'm like, man, it's
Yeah.
just a lot of work to get it set up and going and everything with our lives. And once we did it, it was a blessing because it was just me and him.
Yeah.
And then just kind of, it's
Yeah.
grown to our friend Joe, to our friend Chris, and
Colleen somehow.
Colleen.
How'd you show
It
up?
all happened.
Where did you come
It
from?
happened because it was like you had done 2 episodes.
I think you just
had
showed up and
gotten
forced
promoted.
yourself on here, right?
You came into
Yeah.
Hardware and was
Yeah.
like, "Hey, congratulations on your promotion. I do this podcast and I brought you up on it." So I listened, and then I was like, "Oh man, we should have him in the brewery to do a."
Yeah, we did one,
podcast with
one at the
Ron.
brewery. Yep.
And then the next thing you know, like you guys are doing the podcast there, and then
Mhm.
I started running the show.
Yeah. Now you're running. Now you're running shit.
Like our intro is the first thing that she sat down and said on the mic. So anything that I say and say stupid, you can just cut it out and blah blah blah. Like that's
Yep.
kind of our disclaimer.
But
I
that's
was
her saying that.
exactly
really
what
banking
you're
on that.
thinking.
Yeah.
Then when normal random rattlesnakes and things show up at the brewery, I get
Yep.
called. Yeah, random things like that. Yeah,
I like that I was walking my dog the other night and just saw a snake and I was like,
that was awesome. By the
I was
way,
like,
I love
Frank,
the
what is
picture.
this? I don't know. This is.
I know. I was like,
And,
"Come on!"
and 30 seconds later, you had an answer, didn't you?
Yeah, and I got proven wrong too, which wasn't nice. I had to.
What'd you think it was?
Nothing. It's a long
Oh,
story.
come on. Tell me what you
No,
thought
I
it was.
didn't know.
What? You had no guesses?
No, but somebody with me guessed it right, and
Oh, they did? And what were you thinking?
it was a snake.
Yeah, it's probably one of the most
I'm
common
not-
snakes in the
He's
county.
like, it's an anaconda.
I'm not a snakeologist. What is that? It's not a no. It's not an anaconda.
Did you say snakeologist?
Yeah, I did. I went to THS. We talked about this.
Snakeadillion.
We would never say that.
We'll
Ashton.
say herpetologist.
Herpetologist. I like snakeologist.
I do. It actually does sound better.
Thank
we were
you.
thinking about it, yeah.
It's Charlie Bonnix.
I hope we can all do this more often. Again, I would love to hear updates on what's going on. I would love to share information, Stel, as well, obviously.
Yeah, and if you guys
getting
need
you on the
it,
mic is just
tell
been-
us, message us.
It's
Get
been
it out.
pretty
Or-
awesome. Hearing this stuff, but it's been, it's scary, and it's but it needs to be out there, and the information needs to be shared. And you guys are both the cause. Is
Awareness.
is great.
Awareness is the key. Not trying to scare anybody.
And,
It's awareness.
Frank, you have a nonprofit as well. You're doing a lot of things. You have a lot of things going on as well, there, sir.
I have been more blessed over this past year than anybody could ever deserve. It's a lot more than I deserve.
Liar.
Man,
You deserve all of it.
you
You're
deserve
the
it.
best.
Absolutely.
Stop
You're a
it.
very, very good person, and you brought all this to kind of together tonight, and I really appreciate you for that too.
Yeah, we appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. It's more than I can even remember.
One real thing too is Stel, at the end there, before the break, we were talking about I wanted to bring up what are some ways people can be a little safer with their water at home.
So I always recommend that people filter their own water. I mean, you're taking control of your own, quality of water by doing that. And so some of the ways that you can do that, there's so many options out there. And Cindy was telling me, it's kind of overwhelming. And, for me personally, I have an under the sink reverse osmosis, and then I also have an on the counter water system. And that's for like emergencies, because here in Florida, we have hurricanes and we constantly go out of power. And so I could take the water that I put in my bathtub and put it on the counter system and be fine. I don't have to get bottled water, because I'm against bottled water. That's not any better than your tap water, and plus it contributes to the plastic pollution issues that we have. And so there's a site, it's called the NSF site. And if you're looking at filters, so say you go to Lowe's or Home Depot and you see an under the sink water filter system, for instance, for $200-$300, because a lot of people can't afford a whole home system, which can run up to thousands of dollars.
Very expensive.
You can go to that NSF site. It's an NSF certified, and what that third company does is they test filters to ensure that it filters out contaminants, and they will list the contaminants that it filters out. So, I always suggest people, try to test their water. You can get a test kit at Lowe's or Home Depot. You kind of get an idea of what's going on with your water. You can see if there's lead in it, but those don't test for the extremely harmful contaminants such as perfluorinated compounds, also known as PFAS. But, that there's a special methodology for that to do in a lab, and it costs like $250 per test. So, I just suggest looking at the NSF certified site, and if you see a filter and you're like, well, I'm not sure about this, that's a really great guide. It tells you what they filtered. They go through a really strenuous method to make sure that all of the contaminants are being filtered out properly. And so I don't ever recommend a particular filter because I feel like there's so many out there, and they all do a great job. You just got to make sure they're certified.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Got it.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. And in comparison, like I had saltwater fish tank, and I had our reverse osmosis water for it. You're testing the water every week, and I did those for fish, but I didn't do those for me. Like I don't do that for me. You know what I mean? A lot of people have fish tanks or things, and you're worried about your water quality. Or you have pools, and you're constantly testing your water for other things. Why aren't we doing it for our bodies?
Because you think you can trust your city that's just dumping sewage in the river to pay a fine.
Colleen's so ruined right now.
I know, she's so- Well, I will say, I will put it out there that reverse osmosis, you do have to be very careful with filtering water too, because it will take out very important minerals that your body needs. So if you do go that route, I always suggest making sure you get those minerals back into your body.
It's an excellent point, because that's very
The city
important.
and county does put some good stuff in there too. Yeah, they do put some important good things in there too. So you don't want to filter all the good stuff out along with the bad
Exactly.
stuff.
That's true.
You
Very.
know, Scott got a turtle delivered to his house today,
Boom, turtle.
like in the mail.
Turtle.
And I'm going to deliver some
He knows you
interesting
personally.
critters. I could have
I
brought
like
him some.
turtles.
And he had a turtle
Just telling
delivered
you.
to his house.
Oh,
in a
this coming
box.
from the guy who was just about to pay $50 to have a turtle brought to his house, Charlie.
I like turtles.
I just want to get a turtle.
Tell me what you're looking for, Charlie, and maybe you know a guy.
I
That's all I'm
don't.
saying.
I don't know turtles, but
Maybe
just
you
bring.
know
Just
a
bring me
guy.
a turtle.
I want to be in for Halloween. I think I like Turtle Kid.
Yeah, the
that'd
turtle
be
kid.
cool.
I want to dress up as something with the poop emoji and go across the bridge.
I mean, yeah, we've been out
You
there
do know
every
a
Saturday.
girl.
I have
Yeah.
I have a large blow up unicorn.
Oh, yeah.
Real quick, are
A
any of you
Halloween
guys?
unicorn.
Are you guys doing Halloween costumes this year, Frank? Real quick.
Yeah, me and the dogs are dressed up as something, but I'm not sure what.
Something I'm not sure is what. Scott.
I think we're all Ghostbusters this year.
I normally,
Really?
Nice.
I
think
normally
that's
dress
what
the
everybody
dogs
does.
up instead of dressing myself up.
Colleen.
I got a Bat Dad thing I'm gonna do.
We are, but we're trying to do like a family one. Last year we were Pac-Man, like, and the kids
Nice.
were the ghosts,
That's
and my
awesome.
parents and stuff wore the big cherry and the fruit stuff, and my husband and myself were Mrs. and Mr.
That
Pac-Man.
is very cool.
So,
That's pretty awesome.
because the boys, they have a very hard time wearing costumes because of
Yeah.
the sensitive stuff. So it's just a T-shirt with the eyes. So we're trying.
That's
I think
awesome.
maybe this year we might just go as M&Ms. I don't know.
There you go,
What color M&Ms?
Cindy.
They're choosing.
I am living my life 1 week at a time this year.
Okay, you haven't
Yeah.
even thought about it.
My default is always the safety net of vampire because I mean bloody and awesome.
It's-
There you go.
Yeah.
But my daughter's 13 now, so she wants nothing to do with like family costumes or anything like.
No
Ba-
joke. She's already
basic-
bailed out.
She wants us to pretend we don't know her.
Oh, mine's
Yeah,
on the
we're at
cusp.
oh, yeah,
She's
saddle
yeah.
up.
No, it's never gonna happen. Stell.
I have not decided yet because I do so many different looks throughout the whole entire month.
You haven't found.
Oh,
one.
that's right. You
You
got
haven't
your
found one you're
whole.
sold on?
Okay.
Yeah, I do my 31 days of Halloween, so I don't never know what I'm doing
That's
on
right.
actual
You
haven't-
Halloween.
You haven't
This
found
neighborhood
your
is
favorite
gangster
yet?
Halloween.
Is
Oh,
it
yeah.
really?
But with COVID this year, who knows how busy it's going to be?
Oh, this
Whatever.
neighborhood is gangster Christmas.
Oh, huge.
Christmas and
Oh
Halloween,
my
yeah, it's
gosh.
crazy.
Yeah,
Halloween, it's
crazy
so
up
cool. Like
here for
there's golf
Christmas.
carts running all up and down the street. You can't even walk down the middle of the street without getting hit by a golf cart.
You won't
can't.
find a place to
Wow.
park it. You're on your driveway.
I have
come
15
Christmas.
people already saying they're going to want to come here and park outside here so they can trick or treat from here. You know what I mean? Just
Wow.
because that's what people want to do. They want to come to this neighborhood. It's kind of scary during
You better buy a lot of
pandemics and
candy.
stuff.
Hey, remember,
Well, I got a little door open up. I'm just going to hand candy through the door because I got a little opening.
remember that
One of
pool?
those little
That
grabber.
pool picture?
Oh, totally.
That pool picture, the crazy pool with the gator in it.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's literally one of those about a few houses down from you
Oh,
that I was at the other day. I laughed so hard. I almost sent you a picture of it, but didn't. It's not.
Is there a
far from
gator
you.
in there?
There was. Not anymore.
Oh,
Well, you caught one right
man.
across the street in the pond
Yeah,
over
there-
next
you're
to the
really
Christmas
hitting over
house
here.
already at the golf course, right?
Indeed, yeah. That was a 7-footer, I think, 6-footer, 7-footer. I've caught so many I forget.
Yeah, but that one guy on the internet on Facebook says he did it too.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
we all have problems.
He was real funny when he did his
Yeah.
video.
Hey, man, it's everybody knows more than I do.
Story of my life.
Clearly.
My knowledge is such a low level.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
You had to deal with some Facebook drama in our group.
That's what we're talking
Oh.
about.
It's just
Yeah.
it's hey,
Keyboard gangsters.
Oh yeah.
more power to them.
Yeah, man. Good for him.
You have to learn when it comes to social media. You have to learn PR.
Yeah.
I-
There's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
no, you
I am the
know.
Oh,
least
you
bit,
have to-
I'm the least
yeah.
bit worried about it.
Yeah.
Jared got kicked off Twitter already again.
Oh no!
It's like the 5th time.
Wow.
Hey, so have you been banned from Facebook recently?
I got 24 hours for
Yeah.
putting. I did with
For
the
my
face swap
birthday.
thing.
Yeah,
for
but has it
his
happened
birthday.
again since then?
No.
Because if it happens again,
That's what you
it's
get.
a month or
being
something,
a
right?
jerk.
Oh, I'm gonna be in trouble for a long time then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Be nice.
I'm not.
I didn't think it
I'm
was
off.
that bad personally.
Just creepy.
It was.
Have y'all seen the
Yeah.
face swap thing? Like the app is so good now.
Reface. It's called
What?
These
reface.
are
Reface.
pictures that you've
Oh,
shared.
oh my gosh.
And they, you got in trouble for that on Facebook.
I can make you whoever you.
What?
I can make
It was
you
like a
anything in
fairy
2
in a
seconds.
thong, like a little
Yeah.
short person, and he put Charlie's face on. Like it was like shaking around. It was gross, but it wasn't like
Yeah, it wasn't
I was saying
getting a
happy
hand or something.
birthday, and it's him
Not
on the
nearly
face,
the
you
worst
know.
thing on
I've
Facebook.
seen
No.
so much worse. I thought I did laugh. I laughed.
And I got kicked out.
I thought it was funny.
It was
I tried to
pretty funny.
dispute it, and Facebook says we don't have anybody here to dispute your band.
Oh, yeah, but they had somebody
They're
there
too
to ban you.
short-staffed, is what they said,
Yeah.
to
Wow.
deal with those type of issues. That's what their filter caught, so you got to deal with it.
I've seen some face swaps that were disturbing, like the one you did with what's his name, but other than that, it was pretty good.
that face swap app, Charlie, you started it. I think it was amazing.
Dude, that took up
When you made
4
me
hours
chunk
of my
from
day.
Goonies, bro. Oh, I was mad.
And see, when I do Sunday dinner with the kids, it's no phones, no devices, no nothing.
Mhm.
We're eating steak, we're hanging out,
Yep.
laughing, having a good time. That night, reface app the whole time. Just
we
dying.
get
I was
stuck
like,
at night,
get the
all
phone.
of us doing it for hours.
Ugh,
and
so bad.
I got you. We're
Oh
good.
boy.
You're in trouble.
So if I can mention something, there's what I'm trying to think of what the act is. There's an act in Brevard County that was done. There was $22 billion funded to several different counties in Florida. Brevard was one of 9 of them. Affordable Cares Act.
The CARES Act.
There you
Yeah.
go. So on Thursdays, it's in Wickham. On Fridays, it's in Titusville. And on Saturdays, it's in Palm Bay. And the way this works is you go to these places and they will give you $50 in tokens. So it's virtual money. And then you take this virtual money and you can literally buy any kind of produce you can think of. And any kind of, steaks, fruits, vegetables, wild ocean seafoods usually there. You can buy shrimps. Different kind of seafood. Anything you can think of. It costs you nothing. It's a 30
Is this what's going on in downtown Titusville on
It
Fridays?
is. It's right on the
Yeah, man.
corner
No
of Julia
wonder.
Street.
Yes,
It's
right by the
every day I go to
amazing.
work, the line is
Yes.
like
I had no idea.
literally.
Yeah.
I thought it was just a farmer's market, like a regular one. I did
That's-
not know that's what was going on.
It's basically a farmer's market that's free. So you get $50 worth of tokens. You take them and spend them however you want to. If it's anyone who's been affected by COVID, if we're being honest, we've all been affected by COVID,
Yeah.
Yes.
and it's
Everybody gets a token.
no,
Yeah.
it's
No
everybody
wonder
gets
they don't come to the brewery afterwards. I'm like,
Everybody
we
gets-
don't get anybody down here.
yeah, you get $50 and you can go buy whatever you want to. You can buy ribeyes and T-bones and briskets, whatever you want. It's all there.
Can I get some royal fluff from Play Linda?
That's crazy.
yeah.
I
Do
did
they
not know
have
that's
cookie
what's
butter?
happening.
Yeah.
They have.
Could they
every
please stock
kind
that,
of-
please?
They have a guy that sells nothing but different kinds of infused honeys. Somebody that sells every kind of olive you can think of. There's everything you can possibly think of. It's
It's
all
a way to
there.
energize the economy and kind of
Yeah.
get people.
It is.
Help
So the
families
more
that are
you take
struggling.
those tokens and spend, you're helping those businesses because they're getting the actual money
Yeah.
back out of it. It's
That's
very
great.
cool
That's awesome.
stuff.
That is cool.
That's awesome.
I always wonder what those little wooden things were.
I've been saving a few.
At the
I
thrift
got a bunch
stores?
of them, I think.
Oh yeah. Well,
think
come
so.
on in and shop at Upscale
Okay.
Resale.
Yeah. Right.
Boom.
All right, guys.
It's pretty awesome, yeah.
Awesome.
Is that a wrap?
Thank
we're
you
good.
guys so much.
Yeah,
for
thank
being
you.
here.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Yep.
blowing my mind, man. I'm not going to be able to I'm not going to be right for the next couple of days.
It was
thinking about all
profound. It
this.
was great.
I
It
know.
was really, really good. Thank you all so much.
Yeah, remember, not trying to scare anybody, just bringing awareness to it. Just straight up awareness.
I'm
Yep.
terrified.
That's all it is.
Till next time.
Bye.
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 Daisy's in a tube top, screaming from the top of her lungs. This all ends tonight. Daddy's on the floor, he's screaming for more. Saying you're gonna be alright. Daisy's in a tube top, screaming from the top of her lungs. This all ends tonight. Daddy's on the floor, he's screaming for more. Saying you're gonna be alright.
Dude, that shit's killer! Oh, dude, that was awesome.